you were just named Pre-Construction Design Services Manager for Kraus-Anderson. Thanks for joining me today, Chad. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Brian, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about your new role with Kraus-Anderson. It sounds like this is a newly created position. Is that correct?
Yeah, so newly created position. However, I'm not new to the company. I started my career there 21 years ago already. Time's gone fast, and have worked on a lot of complex, large projects over my career. Most recently, as the project director on the KA block development between 5th Avenue and Portland and 8th and 9th Street. That was completed in 2018. And, I think this position has really been the evolution of our pre-construction group that started as one person in 2012 and has since evolved to a team of 20 pre-construction professionals in the areas of building information management, in virtual design and construction. We have folks in the mechanical. We have a lot of acronyms, so bear with me. In the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing field, estimating, of course, and as well as building sciences and lean process improvement. So, what started as one individual has since grown, and that's really been in response to our clients' needs. And this is no different. This role is tailored to add value to our projects, our clients, and our partners.
So I guess, yeah, just to back up a little bit, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about what you mean when you talk about pre-construction services, what some of that entails, and why that's important.
Yeah, sure. So I kind of like to explain it like, when you get something and there's some assembly required, you're looking for instructions to tell you how to go about assembling it, right? And so I kind of liken the pre-construction group to that team of professionals that really design the planning of the execution of the assembly, or in this case, the construction. And, that's the time where, and it's again, one of the reasons we've invested so much time and resources into that group is, the more time spent there understanding what our project, what our clients' needs are and how to best address them, the better we can impact the design and the overall outcome of the project. Mm-hmm. It's really that phase kind of certainly before we build, but even before we design, quite honestly, is where we feel if we can partner with our design professionals as well as our clients at that very inception of a project, that's where we're going to be able to deliver the most value.
Yeah, and how does that tie in with how closely do you work with the design team on this? And is it sort of, I guess, similar to design build in some ways?
Yeah, in a lot of respects it is. It's I would say, in practice, very similar to design build. It just so happens that we don't have on-staff design professionals. So we're partnering with architectural firms within the area. And so, yeah, as a practice, I would say, design build and this position are very well aligned.
And talk a little bit about the importance of this now, the importance of pre-construction services in our current environment with COVID. I understand it's more important than ever now to get a handle on this, in the current environment we're in with the supply chain issues and so on. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. I think as supply chains around the world were disrupted by the ongoing pandemic, it created quite a shock. And I think fortunately, a lot of supply chains, including construction, have adapted and recovered just by virtue of necessity. which isn't to say there aren't still disruptions. And, that is one of the items in my role that, we're very, we're very intentional and strategic about how we go about sourcing and procuring, the parts and pieces and services that go into the build, and now so more than ever. And so, with these supply chain, I guess, vulnerabilities that have been exposed, just having a heightened sense of awareness and, incorporating that into your planning is a large part of what I do, and try to help our teams with just to minimize risk.
Mm-hmm. And how much of an impact has that had on some of the projects you've been working on here since COVID broke out, talking about the supply chain challenges and so forth? Have you noticed a difference?
Yeah, we've had some, I will say fortunately, and somewhat surprisingly, the impacts weren't, they were kind of episodic. It wasn't epidemic, but kind of limited and one-off. We didn't see any consistent, theme across an entire supply chain, but it was kind of limited in scope, project to project. So in that regard, it was, again, we're very fortunate, and we're able to, manage those various challenges on the individual projects where we did have some challenges to overcome.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you mentioned you've been with Kraus-Anderson now since 1999. What can you talk a little bit more about some of the other roles you played with Kraus-Anderson and kind of how you got to this point?
Yeah, sure. Be happy to. So, I started my career as an assistant project manager, actually working out at the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport, working on some of the capital improvement projects. And we still have a staff out there that supports the work that is really never ending. And so, that was a great start to my career with Kraus-Anderson, being exposed to complex site logistics and challenging builds in very active environments. And then, since then, I had the opportunity to work on a lot of hospitality and really just commercial projects across varying sectors. So, I kind of joke sometimes I'm a little bit of a spotted dog, and just kind of makes me, I'm able to plug into a lot of different roles and have been over time. So from an assistant project manager, kind of evolved into a project manager, and then ultimately on our K block as a project director, overseeing really a team of teams. So we had individual teams managing the various aspects of that particular project. And my role was really just to oversee all aspects of the planning, design, and construction. And that's kind of brought me to today. So it's really, this role is kind of a culmination of that experience, and the idea is that we will leverage that to the benefit of our clients and partners.
Yeah, you mentioned all the work on the KA block. That must have been a fun project to work on, or it's certainly challenging with all the different elements of it, with some office, residential, hospitality. Can you reflect on that project a little bit, and maybe even talk about the importance of pre-construction services on that particular effort?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that I learned and knew before going into that project, but was really reinforced by that experience, is just the importance of effective communication, really in all aspects of what we do. And to a large extent, that's what pre-construction is. It's, getting the right information in the hands of the right people at the right time, so that we can have an execution that looks seamless. It's not always, but so, I think that's one of the things I reflect on, and the people that were involved got to strengthen and create and develop new relationships, and strengthen old ones with colleagues and peers and different partners. And then I think, you know, it really challenged at least myself and others on the team just to continually be flexible about how we plan and do our work. You know, again, it was a tight downtown site, so ever changing, you know, logistics, just given that environment. And, you know, the multi-phase, multi-use projects, we don't necessarily know everything that we're going to build going into the design, and even in some cases as we start building. And so that really causes the whole team to you just have to be flexible kind of by necessity as a result. And so I think those are the highlights that have kind of come out of that and that experience for me.
Well, that was quite a transformation on that block. Of course, before I remember just the small, you had your office headquarters there and then a sea of asphalt basically. And so now
Right.
it's really a vibrant hub downtown. So quite a change.
Yeah, I miss it. I've been holed up in my kitchen working for the better part of the last, you know, as we all have, you know, 7-8 months now, and miss being part of that kind of urban fabric. And but soon enough, we'll get back.
Well, what else specifically are you working on now? And can you talk a little bit about any specific projects?
Yeah, so there are a couple of mixed-use developments. One in particular in downtown Minneapolis. I'm not at the liberties to disclose any further detail other than that. So similar in nature to the KA block, just in scope and scale. And I think what's interesting since, you know, the election and some of the encouraging news with the vaccines that are being developed and hopefully soon to be, you know, distributed, seeing a lot more activity in the marketplace and interest in, you know, those things that maybe in March, April slowed down or stopped altogether have now maybe gained some new traction and new life. And so I think 2021 looks to be a good year for our industry as a whole and our company.
Well, that'll be great. And the passage of the bonding bill certainly helps too, as far as some of those public projects moving forward. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's, you know, critical as many industries as we can support in times like these. It's just, you know, even more important than ever.
Great. Well, Chad, did you have anything else you wanted to cover before I let you go?
No, that was it. I really appreciate the time, and it was nice to meet you and visit with you this afternoon.
Well, nice to meet you as well, and I hope we can stay in touch as you continue in your new role and work on exciting projects. So.
Yeah, no, that would be great. Thank you very much, Brian.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay. Yeah, great.